John Jones is going back to jail. Maybe. Well, he has a court date, and we're gonna go over the whole details. So John Jones just announced his retirement, and the same night after I upload the video, a news story comes out or an article from the Albuquerque Journal talks about a hit and run, another hit and run. So I'm gonna read out the details. I'm gonna give my thoughts. John Jones' lawyer made a statement, so I'm gonna answer that statement too, or think about what I'm gonna say to that. So let's go for it. So the Albuquerque Journal wrote this. Jeff Grammer, good for him. Great article. Okay, where is it? Okay. So the criminal complaint stated by an Albuquerque police officer was investigating a traffic crash near San Mateo and Lomas when she came across a woman in the front passenger seat of one of the cars, quote, exhibiting signs of significant intoxication and lack of clothing from the waist down. Now, me personally, we know the way John swings. Could this be a transgender? We never know. I mean, Albu- I don't know if Albuquerque's pretty blue. They might, call it by their defined pronouns. I'm just kidding. It's probably a woman. But here's what I think. I think it's like a decoy woman. So like he knows he's gonna get. Well, I'll read the rest of the story. The woman reportedly said Jones was the driver, but fled the scene on foot. She then called Jones. The complaint stated, and police service aides spoke to the man on the other end of the call believed to be Jones. He, quote, appeared to be heavily intoxicated and made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force through third parties to the PSA, the court record stated. Wow. Sir John Jones, l- uh, uh, what do you say? John Jones allegedly, play it safe, allegedly got in a car accident with a half naked woman. They don't say what half. I'm going to assume top. Because I don't know. Probably, I don't know if a car seat really feels good naked. I don't know. But so he then drives out, right? Which is like crazy. He like runs away, and then the cops find her after um, I guess she didn't call the police, the woman, but I guess somebody else called, which is really interesting and really funny. I think that I mean, if you guys want to be funny, I could give you funny answer, I give you an answer. Funny answer is, what if John Jones wanted this to be caught with a half naked woman so we knew he wasn't gay? How funny would that be? They don't give you really a date on this. I don't think it was that night, right? I really don't think so. Doesn't really say. July 4th. Oh, an accident February was filed in Tuesday. So last week, last Tuesday, and but the accident happened February, they're saying. So I guess he didn't really have a fit of rage after being retired. But so he gets in a car crash and he flees the country to go to Thailand. Seems a little interesting, you know? But I'll keep reading. I'll keep reading. This is a great article, by the way, from the Albuquerque Journal. Good for them. Um, um, the PSA requested backup after what was believed to be a threat. When the police officer then talked to Jones and said similar allusions to violence were made. So the backup officer also talked to Jones, and Jones also threatened the officer. Um, I don't believe threatening the police is a good thing. It's low key kind of mean. He was obviously intoxicated. We've known he's an intoxicated driver. This isn't surprising to anybody. At least me. What is surprising though is that it was a woman. I would think he's the type of guy to like want to be caught with like a woman, but he like left. Maybe he realized he really wasn't straight, or maybe something else happened. I mean, I don't know how many John Jones gay jokes I can make, but we're like 4 minutes and 30 minutes seconds in, so let's just keep on going. I'm gonna get a new desk, so my computer doesn't bounce like that whenever I move my arms. Um, the man on the phone never answered direct questions about whether he was Jones. The complaint stated. When interviewed in person a few days after the crash, Jones said the woman found in the car had left his house earlier So Jones said that the woman found in the car had left his house earlier in the day intoxicated and called him after getting in the crash. At which time Jones said the person she handed the phone to, quote, immediately opened the conversations with unprofessional language, which led him to doubt the legitimacy of the individual's claim. So Jones is saying that the woman left at his house that morning intoxicated, not with him, in a car in which the officer found her in the passenger seat, no less. So, who's going to believe, John Jones or a police officer? And then said the police officer was not acting professional. Are you going to believe John Jones is a police officer? But so, me personally, I believe the police officer. The woman later told police, this is the alcohol. There's two women, a female police officer and the woman. We're gonna call the woman. We're gonna say the woman whenever talking about the the drunk lady. The woman later told police she drank alcohol and consumed mushrooms at Jones's house and recalled needing to change her clothes at his house. And quote, her next recollection was being at the same scene of at the scene of a traffic accident. Took on my AIOUs for this. She said the last person she remembered driving her car was Jones, the court record indicated. It was her car. This is interesting. The article says it was her car. Police said Jones called the woman's phone 13 times from the time of the crash until 11:34 a.m. So morning crash. Um, at the following morning, that text messages from the phone were included throughout to be the following morning, and that the text messages. Oh, so the crash until 11:34. So it wasn't in the morning. I'm sorry. And then the text messages from his phone were included, though could not be captured in call detail records. The police report indicated the crash happened February 21st, but also in one place stated an officer conducted a follow-up interviews on January 24th. That's weird. Is that a typo? Is that June maybe? No, I don't know why. Okay, they might have made a typo on that. The report crash happened the February 21st, but they follow-up interviewed January? That makes no sense. It is unclear why the charge against Jones wasn't filed until months after the incident. Also, there's no indication the charge and the decision are to retire are connected. Okay, this is the rest of the article is about Jones. So Jones, yeah, very interesting. And now let's hear about the lawyer from Christopher Dodd, an attorney. As John's lawyer, I am stunned by the Albuquerque Police Department's decision to charge him with this new case. I am not stunned. The reason why I am not, me personally, this is Jake now. The reason why I am not stunned is because it's happened multiple times before. Let's continue. In the thousands of cases I have handled in my career, I have never seen a case as strange and and unwarranted as this one. John was not driving that night. He wasn't in the car. It appears that an intoxicated woman used a false allegation against John to avoid being arrested for a DWI, and the police fell for it. Based on the criminal complaint, it looks like they went so far as to seek a warrant for John's cell phone records while conducting a misdemeanor traffic investigation. I have never heard of such a thing. It is truly unbelievable that the police would waste this amount of resources on such a case. The only thing I can think of is that the police were targeting John for improper purposes. We will get to the bottom of it and make sure that this baseless case is dismissed. Okay, so let's talk full thoughts. My full thoughts. A lot of things you see on the internet isn't true. A lot of the things you see on the internet isn't surprising. This may or may not be true. This is not surprising if it is true. I personally believe if I had to bet like $5 on it, I'd bet on $5 on this. $30? I'd still bet on it. Not 100. That he'll be found guilty. That's the second part of this. Will he be found guilty for this? He wasn't in the car according the police officer didn't find him in the car. she found the woman in the in the passenger seat. Could the woman have left? What kind of car crash was it? Was it a car crash that you have to have sustained the injury? Was it a car crash where it was like very light and there's a good chance of no injury? Was an airbag deployed? Did the woman have, I guess, marks of an airbag? Just do when an airbag deploys in your face, do you get something on your face? I would assume something happens to you. You know, she was in the passenger seat. Could she have gotten a crash and moved? Could it have been somebody else? These are all the questions we have to ask. So, so my questions are this: who else did she contact in the last 24 hours before going to Joan's house? Because Jones admitted that she was in the house with her that morning. So, did she contact anybody about driving or meeting up or anything of that nature throughout the day? Another question is: did any security camera of neighbors or anything catch him leave with her in that car? It was her car. That's what makes this kind of, I guess, a little more Jones sided, and that it was her car. So you have to ask, why would he drive her? Here's another thing. She was high though. She was intoxicated and she was on multiple substances, alcohol and mushrooms. Was Jones seem to threaten the officer? That's not something. See, this is the part where I'm thinking Jones, this is all true. Because let's say you're a police officer, right? You're officer woman. Um, hey, Mr. Jones, is this you? Yada yada yada, right? This is officer, blah blah blah. You know, I'm not I'm not really gonna and I'm not gonna take that as a joke. I feel like officers are known to be professional and not under the influence. He said the call was unprofessional. I don't know. It seems more likely that you because in all given the context, now again, without no reasonable doubt, this is all alleged. And we're gonna find the without any reasonable doubt. If we get any footage of the neighborhood, maybe her getting into the car, security camera from a car, from passing by a street, you get the point. Anything picking up him in the car. So the question is why would he take that as a joke and why would he say that? My personal opinion, I think he was high out of his mind. I think he did do this. I think he was high, and I think he responded exactly how you think he would respond. Because we know how an intoxicated John Jones talks. I'm not really that good at impressions, but he does like, I'm gonna kill you. That's horrible. See, I'm not good at them. But you guys know what he's like when he's intoxicated. Seen the Instagram lives. So personally, this seems legit. Um, why did it take this long? I have no idea. Um, that's a big thing. Like, why wasn't this report out there? How did Jeff Grammer get this? And did he always have it? And then decide to release it during the retirement? Like, what's up? Because it was about 2 days prior. During the retirement, the same day he dropped the story. So that's also something that I guess could kind of go for Jones. But again, that's not saying we didn't do it because the guy posted it on an opportune time. If the police filings are back then, I guess why wasn't there a warrant out for his arrest? I guess they didn't have enough evidence. So it's gonna be he said she said moment. Obviously, if there was enough evidence to put John in court, well, no, he is gonna be in court something. I'm sorry. No. He is. He is. He is on sometime in July next month. I'm trying to find the exact day because I like to find the exact days. Uh, July 24th. Hmm. So it's gonna be a fun day. Not for me, maybe not for him, but it'll be fun. July 24th. Save the day. But so he's going to court for this. So this is interesting. Maybe they have more evidence they want to bring up. Why else would they do this? Um, without reasonable doubt. Well, first off, thank God nobody was hurt. Yeah, I gotta say that. Even though really, who cares? I'm kidding. I care. I care. Um, but you know, it's funny. I'm surprised it was a woman. maybe he left her as like a plant. I wonder how old she was. Not accusing him of being a pedophile, but what if she was like really young? What if she was like 20? You know, how funny would that be? I mean, it wouldn't be funny, but it would be like kind of sad. 20-year-old girls like getting like you know what I mean, like bro, like allegedly, allegedly. But so we don't really know much about the woman, which I find really interesting. I feel like we should get more of a description on her age, things like that. Marks. Did she have any marks? Also, why was John with a woman in his house in the morning? Because she obviously stayed the night. When he says, "Oh, wake up in the morning, eggs, and drive over to my friend John's house and do some mushrooms and get drunk and drive back home." Day later at night too. That's another thing. Is what I find really interesting is John said she left in the morning. This happened at night. She was still intoxicated. Personally, I never done mushrooms. I never been drunk. I don't know how long it lasts, but I haven't heard of things lasting that long as maybe 6 7 hours ish to this car crash. So that's another thing. When did she really leave the house? Was he lying to an officer, let alone threatening an officer, which is fucking crazy? There's no excuse. Oh, I didn't think it was an officer. It's bullshit. You know, I think he's lying. I think he was high. I think he threatened an officer while high, and I don't think she left in the morning. I think she left during that time, and I think that's why she got in the car to go home. No, he took her out driving. Stay with me now. He took her out driving after being high. She's in the passenger seat because John's gonna want to drive. John's the man. They get in the car crash. He abandons the scene. She's so high out of her mind. She gets stuck there, half naked, obviously not all there in the head. Um, and then John picks up the call from far away. The officer doesn't say anything about maybe hearing outside noises. Also, how long the car crash how long it took for the officer to get there. Maybe it took her a while. Sometimes it takes officers a while. Was John able to get home in time? How far away was the crash from his home? That's also another good question. These are all questions I'm dying to know. That would help understand all the other information on the case. It's pretty funny though. I mean, it's funny because it was John Jones. If it was anybody else, it'd be like, oh, that's just people in New Mexico acting like people in New Mexico. I mean, it's right out of Breaking Bad, huh? This is the start where it's like they fucked up a drug thing, and like she dies. That's how it would be in Breaking Bad. This was in Breaking Bad, but it's not in Breaking Bad. Maybe John does meth. He could be. Anyone could be. I could be doing meth. I'm not, but John could easily be doing meth. I know the hat says otherwise, but you know, it's not a meth hat. It's a cool hat. Anyways, that's what I think. Pretty fun, pretty cool. I think he did it. That's my personal opinion. I can't wait to hear about this court case. It's gonna be really fun. Tomorrow will be a video on early thoughts of Evolve Cannoneer. And then Wednesday will be hard predictions. No, probably Friday. Thursday will be um press conference. I'll figure something out. I always do every day. Day 3. 3. Not just oh, I was stunned there. Very cool, very fun. Like, subscribe, share, salute.